Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Hockey Show. I'm Paul, he's Horce, and as you can see, we're not in the studio where we normally are, but we are in beautiful downtown Tampa, Florida, which has been just an unbelievable host for the 2016 Frozen Four.
Let me tell you, Paul, when we first heard Tampa, we said, well, sun and fun, but you know what? Is it really hockey? And you know what? We came down here, it is totally hockey. This city goes out of their way to put out a great show, and there's plenty of people here from North Dakota, from Michigan, from Minnesota, from New Hampshire. Every hockey fan in the world's down here, and this is the place to be at this time.
Some of us even complained about coming to a warm weather city, but this has been unbelievable.
Oh, they should have it here every year.
Why wouldn't they? And if John Butchergrass has his way, they're going to have it here every 4 years. But let's talk a bit about how we got to this venture on our odyssey. It started 2 weeks ago yesterday in Worcester, where we saw the reigning champions, Providence, beaten in overtime by the University of Minnesota Duluth. We then saw Boston College beat Yale. BC ended up coming down here, where they lost to the finalists tonight, Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac, this is only the second time they've been in the Frozen Four. Last year they were in the finals and lost to Providence. But
excuse me?
Oh no, I'm sorry. They lost in the semis. And Providence took it last year, and Providence got knocked out earlier this year by BC. And Quinnipiac's got a strong team, and North Dakota came in this year. One of the favorites, I would think, Paul, from the West, and they beat Denver, and then they ended up playing Quinnipiac tonight. And you know, against Denver, Paul, they started out real strong, but then there were lapses. Everyone thought Denver was out of it. They were down two. Denver was up down 2-0. Denver came back. They tied the score, and we thought we were going to go into overtime. But there were times that North Dakota went 10 minutes without a shot on net. Quinnipiac, I think, can deal with that. Quinnipiac's a tough team. They put a lot of pressure on you. They're the big, strong bodies. They've got a real good shot.
Well, Quinnipiac jumped all over Boston College early in that game.
Correct.
And that's what got them to the finals tonight. They've got one of the better goalies in college hockey, Michael Gartig. He's got the top winning percentage of any goalie in college hockey.
Yes.
And by the way, goaltending is the most important position in all of sports.
You'd say that anyway.
And congratulations to Thatcher Demko, BC's goalie, who didn't win the Hobie, but he did win the Mike Richter Award.
Yeah. And the Hobie was who? Tell us.
Jimmy Vesey, Charlestown, Mass.
Harvard.
Well, North Reading, too. He's got a couple of different talents.
That's correct.
He's your Hobie Baker winner. Also, Kyle Connor, the freshman from Michigan, who had an outstanding year.
Yes, he did.
But let's go back to Quinnipiac and North Dakota tonight. Two great teams, two great programs. They both have the top winning percentages for teams. Also, both senior classes come in tonight with 109 wins. So that shows you the dominance that these kids have had over the past 4 years. Personally, I'm hoping Quinnipiac can do it. It's a New England team. They've never won it. North Dakota has a rich history. You know, why not spread the wealth a little bit? The story with Rand Pecknold is unbelievable. He's been there for the whole duration. Former math teacher, I think, who would drive 70 miles one way to the campus up in Hamden, Connecticut.
That's right.
And they had an aggressive president come in, an aggressive marketing campaign. I never knew where Quinnipiac was 15 years ago, but I sure know where it is now.
Well, let me tell you, Quinnipiac wasn't on the map as far as Division I hockey was concerned. What, maybe even 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, and they came on strong, and they got the nod with the ECAC, and they've done well there. And you know what? They were number 1 in the country all year. Where did that come from? And all of a sudden, they're playing number 2 in the country. It's going to be a great event tonight.
They're led by their forward Sam Annis, a junior. North Dakota's led by the CBS line, which is Drake Kajula, Brad Bazer, and also Nick or Kyle Schmaltz. Collectively, they have a lot of game-winning goals. They had the game winner the other night, and this is a line that's going to have to be reckoned with. They are missing a player, Chad Johnson, I think his name is, second-line center. He is out, so first-year coach Brad Berry's going to have to juggle his lines around a bit to compensate for that loss.
Well, you know, you talk about juggling the lines. I mean, there's depth on both teams. If somebody's out, somebody's willing to step up. You know, I mean, that's how you build a program. That's how it gets going. And you know, you start winning a few of these games, and all of a sudden, players want to go there, and that's what makes them that much better.
Well, you know, Quinnipiac has been here. Knocked on the door against Yale a few years ago. We've seen North Dakota win it when Dave Haxtell was the coach. He, of course, is now with the Flyers. Why is my phone? That's nice. I just left someone a message, and I don't know who it was.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I think your phone was talking to you earlier too. It's great. These automated phones.
It's nice when they call in during the show.
But to go back to Tampa, it's just the atmosphere has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just read something on Twitter from Dave Starman, who's working for ESPN in the studio. He's getting pictures sent to him of people at beaches with hockey jerseys on. So I mean, this whole place, and everywhere you go around here, you know, whether it's on the water and there's beautiful scenery, you know, hockey signs, the Frozen Four, sand sculptures.
Yes.
There's one
Beautiful
in our
sand
hotel,
sculptures.
which we'll take a look at. There's another one. Unfortunately, some nefarious vandals put their hands and smudged them up.
Unfortunately, as the team is dismissed from the Frozen Four, they're eliminated from the sand. That's okay.
All right, now you just brought up a word, dismissed.
Yes.
What team comes to mind in hockey when you say dismissed?
What do you mean? What
Not playing anymore, maybe.
BC?
No, I'm talking same town.
You mean big time hockey?
Yeah.
Boston Bruins.
Yep.
I think I hear the fat lady singing. Hold on.
She was warming up earlier.
Yeah.
The Bruins lost today to Ottawa.
Yep.
They closed the season out 2-8-1, which is not the way you want to try to attempt to make the playoffs.
And two of those wins help.
We have a source, Paul Greeley, his name is, his cousin, who was speaking with various people in hockey. And he spoke to an ex-Bruins official who said if they don't make it, Claude's going to bite the bullet because, as he put it, Donnie and Cam want an up-tempo system.
Well, you know what? They started that last summer. Defense was Claude's theory for the last 4 years, and it really got him nowhere. And they decided that they wanted up-tempo, they wanted goal scorers, they drafted goal scorers. They're trying to make it interesting, even for the fans, not just for people to go there. Hey, people were going there and they admitted it was boring hockey. You need guys to put the puck in the net. Nobody wants to go there and see a 1-0 game, all right, with 12 shots on net. You know, that's boring. I mean, it's like, I was going to say it's like a no-hitter, but no-hitter's interesting. You know what I mean?
Depending on your perspective.
Yeah, but the shutouts just not like that. And,
well, how about instead of getting rid of a coach who's successful, maybe you add some younger, skilled defensemen? Because your top 2D are not exactly spring chickens. And I know you're very hard on a certain one whose last name is Chara.
Yes, he should have been gone a long time ago. He adds nothing to anything as far as the Bruins offense or defense is concerned. I think in the last 7 or 8 games, McQuaid has played terrible. They get for years they've been saying draft picks, defense. Let's get these guys in. Let's build them up. Let's get them out there. Give them a chance to do what they have to do. And interesting enough, you talk about bringing people in. How many guys in the Frozen Four? Because we are here in beautiful Tampa,
sunny Tampa.
How many guys have already been eliminated from the tournament and already have signed contracts with NHL teams?
Well, the latest one, maybe not, but the latest we heard of Colin White, a freshman out of BC. And you hope he doesn't regret that, right? It's an early age to be signing.
To where?
Didn't we hear that last night?
I thought it was Wood.
Colin Wood. You're right, Colin Wood. I'm sorry. It was Wood went.
Wood went to the Devils, and Santini also went to the Devils.
Okay.
This afternoon. So
Santini's the latest one.
Yeah. So they're moving out. I mean, and you hope that these kids would think that an education is number one. I mean, let's take for example Jimmy Vesey. All right, he goes to the NHL. He's going to do all right. Don't get us wrong. He'll do all right. But if he doesn't, he opens his drawer and he pulls out his Harvard degree. How bad is that?
Well, that's as close as we ever got to Harvard last night when we took a look at the Hobie Baker Award from the beautiful Tampa Theater. You can take a look at what we saw right now.
We welcome you back to the 2016 presentation of the Hobie Baker Memorial Award. Here at the Tampa Theater, this is a great building. I just love looking at this historic facade, and it's great to see that something like this can stand for 90 years now here at the Tampa Theater. Well, each year, the Hobie Baker Award has a brand new chairman, and I'd like to bring up to the stage right now. Our chair for 2016 is Chris Bunnell. He's done a fantastic job, a lot of long hours over the course of the year in managing the committee to the point where we are right now. Chris will have the distinct honor of announcing our 2016 Hobie Baker recipient. Chris Bunnell.
Thank you, Wally. And welcome to our 3 finalists collectively for the Hobie hat trick. General Milley, distinguished guests, and those joining us being the NHL Network. On behalf of the Hobie Baker Memorial Award Foundation and Committee, welcome. To my wife Joni and our children, thank you for taking on this opportunity as we have every other step in life, and that is together. Since our founder, Chuck Bard, and members of the Decathlon Athletic Club first established the Hobey Baker Memorial Award in 1981, it has served to recognize the top NCAA men's ice hockey player in the nation. The fraternity of past recipients, from Neil Broughton of Roseau, Minnesota, to Jack Eichel of Boston, Massachusetts, has and continues to set the bar high, both in their hockey careers and life pursuits. Growing up in Hockey Town, USA, no gentleman, not Detroit or Boston, but the original one in Warwick, Minnesota, I was fortunate to know, learn from, and witness many great hockey players and feats of excellence on the ice. I know that the skills necessary to excel in our sport are molded through endless hours on backyard rinks, rivers, or ponds, and ice arenas tucked way off the beaten path. You likely have skated well before dawn and into the late hours of the evening. You've traveled hours by car or bus in order to play a 2-hour game, only to turn around and make the trip home. I'm sure you've seen your share of 2-star motels and roadside restaurants, but you've persevered for the love of the game of hockey. You've earned your place on this stage with your highlight reel plays, community engagement, and genuine interest in your teammates and the schools you represent. You have created and witnessed many moments of excellence that we refer to as Hobey moments. Yet the true measure of a Hobey man may well come when the spotlight fades and no one is watching. To truly model the values that are the legacy of Hobey Baker, you will focus on the following attributes: teamwork, dedication, integrity, humility, scholarship, and strength of character. As I was reviewing your individual accolades, speaking with coaches, officials, and fans of college hockey, it was readily apparent that you do embrace the legacy of Hobey Baker. But I would challenge you to make these attributes a lifetime pursuit. Tools that you will focus on, sharpen, and ultimately use as a framework throughout your life. With the same zest that you focus on your hockey skills, skating, shooting, passing, and stopping shots. Hobey Baker was given many gifts, and history tells us that he made the most of them, even though he was not given the gift of time. My sincere hope for each of our 3 finalists is that you will have the opportunity to hone and exemplify those values for many years to come. This group of young men, Jimmy Vesey, Thatcher Demko, and Kyle Connor, collectively our 2016 Hobey hat trick, did not arrive at this point without the support and sacrifice of their families, friends, coaches, and last but not least, teammates. I know that you recognize these contributions, but I wanted to highlight them as I leave you with a challenge. At a formative time in my life, a good friend and mentor challenged me with a quote attributed to former Illinois Wesleyan President Minor Myers Jr. Go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good. By following that simple phrase, you will capture the essence of Hobey Baker and the memorial award named for him. At this time, I would invite Price Waterhouse Cooper partner Scott Berman to please bring me the envelope. At this time, I would like to present the winner of the 2016 Hobie Baker Memorial Award from Harvard University, Jimmy Baker.
First off, I'd just like to congratulate Todd and Thatcher on their outstanding seasons this year. I've seen both of these guys play, and either one of them could be standing where I'm standing right now, so congrats to you guys on your season. Second, I'd like to take a moment to thank the Hobie Baker committee for selecting me as this year's winner. It's definitely a huge honor, and definitely joining a league company as well. Anytime an individual receives an award like this, it's clear that they didn't get here by themselves, and I think I'd like to take right now to offer thank yous to a lot of people who helped me get to this point. First to my family, my parents, my brother Nolan, and my sister Kylie, for all their love and support, and being the best friends I could ask for throughout my hockey career. Also to my extended family, thanks for supporting me along the way, and thanks for always having a crowd at my home games. Next, I owe a thank you to my coaches, Coach Donato, Coach Pearl, Coach Rassi, and Coach Eklund. Thank you for giving me the great chance to play for Harvard. It's been a blast, and I'm sad that it's over. Also, I owe a huge thank you to the entire Harvard community for supporting me through my career, and especially to all those who come out to our games and support our team. Lastly, I wouldn't be here without my teammates, especially my line mates, Kyle Criscolo and Alex Kerfoot, who I've played with for the last 2 seasons. I've got a lot of the spotlight the last 2 years, and those guys took a back seat and never complained once. And my teammates are my best friends, and I've had a great 4 years with those guys. It's been a great weekend in Tampa for the Frozen Four, and tomorrow's championship should be a great ending, so good luck to Quinnipiac and North Dakota. Thank you.
So that was a look at what we saw last night, the Hobie Baker Award. We've been to several of them, and interesting fact is, on the plane going down to Tampa Wednesday, we had some of the Veazey family members with us, so it was pretty funny. There was a little kid in front of me, and I was half asleep, and I hear, Jimmy Veazey for Hobie Baker, Jimmy Veazey for Hobie Baker. And the story with Veazey, as I'm sure everybody knows, is he was drafted by the Nashville Predators. He went through Harvard. He made it clear he wanted to go through Harvard. Then there was a big maelstrom of all kinds of turbulence that he's not going to sign with them. And Nashville said he told them he'd sign. The Veazey camp says they didn't say that, and it's a he said, or they said. It certainly doesn't appear like he's going to sign with them.
According to the NHL rules, the way it goes is that they can draft you an 18-year-old, and you've got the option to stay in school or not. If you stay in school for your 4 years, he's actually got till August 15th,
yes.
15th, I believe, to decide what he really wants to do. All of a sudden, Nashville didn't want anything to do with him for a while, from what we hear, scuttlebutt down here, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we do want him. And what is his father is a scout? A scout for
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Toronto Maple Leafs. He's talking about the hometown Boston Bruins.
His father, by the way, won the Hobie Baker for Division II, 3 players when he was at Merrimack with Jim Veazey Sr.
But an interesting point on him, he only played 20-something games in the NHL, contrary to what popular belief might be.
Okay.
So he's playing his option. He's saying, you know what, these are part of the rules. But the teams in the league don't like that's part of the rules. But player representatives say, hey, this is this, and this, his option is he doesn't have to sign. And if he doesn't sign, he's a free agent. He can go to anybody he wants. And he's looking at those 2 teams right now. But hey, anybody can step up and take it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Now, we had Chris Nyland on last year, and he told us Jim Veazey's his best friend.
Yep.
And Nyland has his own radio show in Montreal, and he was very vocal about the fact how the Predators wooed Seth Jones to come play for the Predators, come sign with us, play with us. They draft him. Then what do? They ship his butt out of town. So, you know what? It's a two-way street, and it's not so much a sport anymore. It's a business.
And kids don't take that. I don't know if they're intimidated to the fact where they say, okay, yeah, we want to sign, we need to be professional. Because we get a couple of kids from BC who are freshmen who are bailing out. They want to join the NHL. And we've heard from very good sources that we hope he doesn't regret his decision, meaning the freshmen that are leaving. They get 3 more years of eligibility. They should use it. Yeah, they're getting old. We don't know what the ages are, but prime time in the NHL is between 24 and 27. The problem is these kids get out of school and prep school, and by the time and then they get redshirted, and by the time they're playing, they're 21, 22 in their sophomore years. You know, they got to get out and do it, but. You have to always fall back on that education, and there's no reason why they just don't stay in and do it.
Now, to speak further about VZ, his father is a scout with Toronto. There's been a lot of talk that it'll either be the Maple Leafs or the Bruins he signs with. VZ told Kevin Paul Dupont of the Boston Globe yesterday, he said, I have 29 teams I can pick from. So
I would think.
I wonder what the omission was.
I think Nashville's out.
Yeah.
But you know what, Paul, we were talking to the people on the VZ's relatives on the plane on the way down, and we had heard that he's getting death threats from people in Nashville saying, you know, you should be here. What are you doing? What
exactly.
He's
a kid, and he's a good kid from what we understand.
Yeah, and he's got options that are in place that he can use. But people get pissed off that he has to use them, but that's the way it is.
And what did I tell you last night when we heard him accepting the award and thanking everybody? I said, this kid gets it.
Yeah, he did.
He's a bright kid, and the other two kids are great kids too. Thatcher Demko, the goalie at BC, who may or may not be back, and also Kyle Connor, a freshman at Michigan.
He's a freshman, yeah.
Who may or may not be back.
Yeah.
You don't know these days.
Well, look at Eichel. He was a freshman. He went out, which is a shame because Connor had pretty much the same numbers as Eichel did, and Eichel walks away with the Hobie.
Well, you know, there's something to be said, though, for loyalty. You know, VZ stayed for 4 years at Harvard.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
How many years did you stay at Harvard?
An afternoon.
That was as close to Harvard as I ever got last night. And I saw Ted Donato, VZ's coach, in our lobby. So
you were there for 2
I
years
shook his hand and congratulated him. So, yeah, it's close to Harvard as I ever got. But for those of you who don't know who Hobie Baker is, you know, look him up because every year we see
great story.
It's just, you talk about American heroes.
Yes.
So this guy was a tremendous athlete, two-sport athlete, and he died serving this country. He was a tremendous soldier.
He's a hero.
So now, let's go back to the Bruins.
Why? I'm having such a good time in Tampa.
Exactly, but we have to talk about our beloved Bruins. They're hanging on by a thread with their playoff hopes. We know Philly has an extra game due to losing a game in a snowstorm. Right. I just don't see. You know what? Although, if Rask got hot, if he's healthy, he could carry them. He was out ill today.
Yep.
But you know, where's this team going?
Nowhere.
Well, how about next year? Who's the coach?
Who knows? What are the changes?
Okay. Well, who do you get to replace Claude Julien?
That's a good question. I don't have that answer. Somebody mentioned Mike Milbury coming back. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
That's been discussed, but you know what? Sometimes leaving the broadcast booth and going back into hockey doesn't always work. The rink behind us, someone tried that a few years ago, Barry Melrose. Yep. It didn't work. As they say, sometimes the game might pass you by, the game changes and evolves.
Yeah, right.
You know, Milbury's got a pretty good gig going with NBC.
Why would he go? They have to throw a bucket of money in.
And it's a little bit different coaching the Boston Bruins instead of coaching the Bach under-16 Blazers, which he's been running for a while. So
that's true.
I don't know. You know, there's talk college coaches could be the next wave of NHL coaches, and so far, Dave Hackstall's done well with the Flyers. They're saying maybe Norm Bazine with UMass Lowell could be the next one to sign with the NHL.
Yeah, there's a good pick. Yeah.
And someone even brought up Nate Lehman, Providence College.
Yeah.
But, I think Lehman likes what he's got going there.
I think Lehman likes what he's got going there. He made it this year and he got knocked out. He won it last year. He's got some good kids coming back in. He's got a strong team back again. I don't think he'd be going anywhere in the near future.
He also just lost his goalie, though. Nick Ellis turned pro, so this means the reins will probably be turned over to Hayden Hockey. H-A-W-K-E-Y.
Yeah.
And a lot of their guys, seniors, have turned pro. Kevin Rooney just had a 3-point night for the Devils farm team. Of course, he's Steve Rooney's nephew. Steve played for Providence College, then won a Stanley Cup with Montreal.
Yes, he did.
And the Rooney family's pretty well known in Canton. But, you know, it's been a wonderful weekend down here. You know, I'm glad we came. I was hoping to be a cold weather city like we've seen in Minnesota or when it snowed in Denver, but there's nothing wrong with this. I know you've been spending a lot of time at the pool ogling girls a third your age.
Excuse me.
If that's how you want to spend your afternoons, that's up to you.
Excuse me, if I'm sitting on a lounge chair and they happen to be walking by, there's nothing I can do about it.
And can you tell us what just happened with that water rescue you were a part of? Because
Well,
we have video.
Well, a girl jumped in the water.
Why? Was it a suicide attempt? Was she a BC fan?
I don't have that answer, but she couldn't get back up on the thing, and there was 2 guys over there trying to help her out, and to no avail. So I went over there, ripped my shirt off, had my big S on my chest, and
You didn't do that because, as I said, we have video proof.
all right. The S was under my shirt, and I pulled her up out of the water with the help of 2 other participants.
Now, when I wanted to go swimming in the bay the other day,
Yeah.
you saved me, didn't you?
Yes,
you showed me a sign.
I did say, but in a different story. There was a sign there that said, "Beware of alligators." I don't
So-
know why this girl would be in the water here.
There are no signs over here, though. Maybe they can't cross a certain line in the
So
bay.
you think alligators can read the signs then?
Maybe, but I mean, you risked your life to save hers.
No, I don't
That's
think
that's
I don't-
commendable.
I don't think
That's
I risked it. I helped her.
very Hobie Baker-like.
Hello, girls.
There he goes again. One on the left might be half his age. Too old. Too old. Let's take a look at a few fights because that's what we always do. Then we're
Yes,
going to
we
come back to wrap this up because it's getting hot here in Tampa.
Yes, it is.
Going now, Ferraro is going to have a go, and he gets the last laugh on McCormick, who went in just firing away, and Ferraro's not done. It's a one-sided game. There's less than 5 minutes to go. Is there an instigator? Because if there is, there's going to be some money exchanged as well. New Jersey, just about 8 miles from Madison Square Garden. And then they go back-to-back, New Jersey and Ottawa. And Durzinski with a pretty nasty intentional hit right between the 8 and the 6. And now Neal squares off, and he wants McQuaid no matter what.
I think McQuaid just wants to wrestle this one out. Now he's going to drop.
There they go. Rock'em sock'em robots. And we got one going in the corner. Ronaldo just pummeling Durzinski, who is one of the most famous fight losers in the NHL. Durzinski nearly truncated his entire career by mistakenly taking on Fraser McLaren, looking for the toughest guy in the bar, and just about getting punched out of a hockey career.
Well, he's the one that went and tried to make the big hit on Miller behind the net here in the final 30 seconds.
Here's Jimmy Hayes and Borowiecki, and we got a line dance potential here.
Yeah, that's what Cameron's trying to do. You know, he's got his guys on the ice here at the end of the game because it's been a little out of control. You mentioned it, Jack. The later we got, the deeper we got, the bigger the lead got, the chippier it got. Dave Cameron wants these guys on the ice here, you know, message sending time or however you want to look at it. That's what we got. But he finally had a drop because there was really no choice. It's fun in there, isn't it?
Face rake.
A little one-sided here with Ronaldo. Had that little shot when he was down.
Well, that's really the only highlights of this season for Bruins fans if you want to see fights. Let's close by talking first about the Boston Bruins. Who knows what's going to happen with the playoffs? It really depends on what Philly does at this point.
Well, right now it's out of their hands. They, like you said, 2 out of 11. All they had to win was two of those.
2-8-1 in their
All
last
they had to
11.
do was win 4 of them.
A point today.
Yeah, a point today would have been all right. And Detroit ends up beating New York, and now Philly's got a game in hand, so they could be out.
Well, I do hope this. If Claude Julien is not going to be the coach, I hope he finds out sooner than later. I hope they don't let him know at September 15th when jobs are going to be filled, because he deserves better than that.
Correct.
And they do need to revamp this defense. Maybe Jimmy Vesey's going to be on this team, but you know, where? Third line center?
Well, you know what? There was talk about Jimmy Vesey. He didn't want to go somewhere and have people think that he was going to be the savior. He just wants to go and be a hockey player and do well and let the chips fall where they may. There's enough pressure on any freshman coming in anyway, never mind a hometown boy coming into the Bruins, and he's supposed to be the savior. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work. As far as the Bruins are concerned, who would they have? They'd have either Tampa Bay or Detroit.
Possibly, yeah.
Right? How far are they going to go with either one of those?
Who knows? At least it wouldn't be Washington and Braden Holtby, who they haven't beaten since Richard Nixon was president. That's a bit of exaggeration. Let's talk about tonight. I'm rooting for Quinnipiac. I think they can beat these guys. I mean, there's a reason they were number one for so long,
Right.
and there's a reason they've won 32 games this year, whatever it is now, 33.
Let's be realistic. They were number one all year. They won a lot of games. They're in the ECAC. There's a lot tougher teams that North Dakota played. Okay, and you go by wins and losses, not by caliber of play. I do think they have a chance of beating them. I'm rooting for them because North Dakota's been there so many times. And you know what? It's nice for the other guy to come in, and it can only help their program to help them get better.
Okay, we will have predictions in a minute. I'd be remiss, though, if we didn't bring up some sad news. A guy we met throughout the course of traveling to the Frozen Fours, Butch Mousseau, a linesman out in the western part of the country. He was involved in an accident last month during pregame warm-ups at one of the tournament games. The referees and linesmen didn't wear their helmets then. He struck his head. Ultimately, there were problems with, he was in a coma and bleeding on the brain, and he passed away. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. If you want to help out the family, look on the information on the bottom of the screen. That can, but he was always a gregarious, outgoing guy. He was the first, I think, Native American to be a college hockey official, and beloved by people all over the world of hockey.
We met, we're not supposed to be close to NCAA officials. They kind of keep them huddled out of the way, and they usher them in and usher them out. But we had met him once down there in St. Louis. I think we first met him. He was a great guy. And after that, he always gives us the big hello and the whole deal. And just a great guy. And when I heard it was him, you know, I heard that the AHL ref went down, and then a day later I heard it was him. And I just couldn't believe it. He's just a great guy. And it's always the good guys. It's the way it is.
Tremendous shame, and we wish nothing but the best for his family going forward.
True.
On a lighter note, tonight I'm going to go with Quinnipiac. I think, you know, they're undefeated in their last 6 games, so hopefully they can get to number 7 and, you know, finally get to the hill. You know, this is a school located at Sleeping Giant State Park in Hamden, Connecticut, so maybe the Sleeping Giant sleeps no more. Maybe they ascend to the top of the mountain in the world of college hockey. My money's on the Bobcats.
Yeah, by how many?
2 goals.
3-1, you saying?
I didn't say that. 2 goals.
What are you saying? 8-6?
Could be 4-2.
I'm going to Quinnipiac also as well in a tight one.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for us from beautiful downtown Tampa. He's Horce. I'm Paul. Remember, good things happen when you go to the net.
You don't mind if I catch a little sun here, do you?